Hello, this is my presentation of measuring retention and transferring. So we have introduction. Um, to start with is when hearing that motor learning, we think that motor learning is something that is moved around or what are the key components that make up with it. And then there's a little quote from the book just stating what is motor learning and what capable skilled performance is. And then after that, it's a little brief discussion on what we can experience from a skilled performance and how motor learning is being measured and what are the key importance or why is the key importance so important. In this lab, we tested how transfer tests are important by measuring the tasks that we do and why retention test is a way to measure the skill. We also looked to see if it's a near or far transfer, if they are similar, or if we need to change something, or like taking breaks or the environment. So our hypothesis is um, if of all of the transfer tests we saw that movement of the elements of the near and far transfer. In this lab, we expected that the variable error would be higher than the constant error of all the transfer tests. So jumping down to the method, is just explaining the experiment and what we did. We um, marked a little X 5 paces away and have the experimenter go and stand on the line and try to throw a bing bag with their non-dominant hand parallel to the X, and they try to get it within the X. And they have 40 trials, but for each block they had 10 trials, and then they take a 1 minute and then a 1 minute break in between before they go to a retention test. They took a 5 minute break, and then after the retention test, they the experimenter calculates the constant error and the variable error, and put it in the class data, which in the middle you can see the graphs and the table of the results that we came up with. And then if we go over to the results for constant error, it just tells you what the data is, and then the variable error also, which we can, which we it proves that our constant error was lower than our variable error. So, jumping to our discussion, looking upon the result of the data that we gathered, is we expected that the variable error, or VE, was higher than this constant error, or the C, of all the transfer tests, which allows us to do a transfer test by taking breaks. The and which this allows us to practice on what we need to practice in order to do retention of the variable error when we took a 1 minute or a 5 minute break in between. Transfer tests can have movement with near transfer and of learning tests because we are taking breaks and using a different options to do the transfer. Um, and then to close, I did a the citing of the book since I cited earlier in the introduction. So that is my presentation, and I hope you enjoy.